YouTube, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host TKK and we are back with another video, guys. We're gonna jump right into this. This is part 2 of 3 years owning a Dell Alienware pre-built, the Aurora R12. If you haven't seen the prior video, the part 1, you can check it out. It was mostly talking, showcasing the system. I reviewed the content, and at the point of me editing, looking to add this portion of the content, I decided to just split it up in 2 parts, right? So where we are right now, I have just seen that this thing has a slot right here, and I'm going to utilize this this capture card that I had lying around. This is a Remixed Live Gamer 4K, right? Gonna get this thing installed because, as I spoke about in the first video of this series, this 2-part series, I've had this computer for about 3 years and I am looking to repurpose it, right? I'm gonna get some personal use case out of it to stream, capture content, create content for my gaming channel. And I think this would be pretty interesting to showcase with you guys, right? Older system, how can you get more use out of it? How can you get more life out of it? We're gonna have timestamps in this video and we're gonna get it going right after this intro. All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. This is my 77-inch Samsung S95C, and in the same room we've got my 55-inch S95B. Now this is my game room. Things are absolutely trashed, but there's a couple of different things I want to introduce you to just to kind of set this video up to make sense. This is an arcade cabinet. This is called a Chulix. This has been featured on All About TKK. I have this and a Fulix. This is the Chinese knockoff, but this thing is great. We did a complete redo. As a matter of fact, my first video of this year in 2023 was of this thing. The first breakdown, I'll card that in right now if you're interested in just seeing something like this. But inside of this arcade cabinet, we do have an amplifier for audio, some surge protection, a couple of controllers, but we've got a PlayStation 5, so that's the platform that's in here to get it so that I can game. Now, I showed you the monitor and such that's inside of this thing. It's a BenQ Mobius 32-inch 4K. We don't got it turned on now, obviously, but essentially what I'm going to be doing is using this Alienware computer that we're talking about to act as a means of content creation for me to be able to stream, produce better content, right? So I'm just interested in seeing how well this thing handles. Now, it's got great parts in it. I've streamed and I've made videos with lesser. It's really messy over here, but I think it's going to be really good. Now, one of my favorite games to play currently is Street Fighter 6. Now, I've had this on just because I've been cleaning my house, and the game room is kind of like one of the last things I got to get organized. Once I have to organize stuff in here, everything else gets messy. So I've just had this on loop, but I'll be looking forward to making videos on this and other things, right? Link to my gaming channel is in the description if you want to support. But let's go ahead and get this capture card installed into this R12. All right, so we've got this capture card installed. Things looking great too. Went in there really clean. I gotta give some credit for the case design. Pretty toolless situation. Gonna just reach over you guys a little bit. Get this thing unlocked. Make sure this can be seen cleanly. So that guy just plugged right in there. Write it down here in the bottom, and it's nice. Some movement there, but there's no place to put a screw, so this is all toolless. There would be another space for me to put something else in between, but I definitely wouldn't because the GPU does have a fan there. So a little bit of blockage there. So my plan for this system, let's just talk about that. I guess I'll title this particular timestamp, what my plans are. I love the design of this. I've got this really small IKEA table. Let me see if I can step you back a little bit. Now, I had 2 different monitor options. I could either go with a 2 monitor setup, or a 2-monitor setup for the PC, or I could just do one. And I think I'm just going to do the one because I am a TV guy here on YouTube. So I have a 55-inch S95B I recently bought. That's a QD OLED, right? Big TV, perfect viewing angle. So it's going to work for me because looking over to the right, I'll be able to see everything flawless versus if it was like an LED, there would be some clouding, haziness. I'm going to swing you over real quick. So I have these 2 monitors on this desk mount that I had in storage. So the left 27-inch 4K 60 hertz, and then on the right it's like a 22-inch 1080p. So I could have used those. That's fully articulating to be able to create content, edit content in 4K, whatever, if I was going to do that, and just you know, have this guy for like chat reads or whatnot. But I'm going to go with the Samsung S95B as my second monitor, and the reason is because I recently put it back into my collection, and I don't have much space. So yeah, that's kind of that. But this went together pretty good. So there's nothing I need to do now. This table that I'm using, as I just showed you, pretty small. Gonna lock this thing back up while we're on camera. Lock this back up. Great, so that's good, that won't pull out. Looking at the bottom of this case, there is no intake on the bottom at all. So this is designed really well for me to be able to have multi-purpose type of floors. I do have carpet in my game room, and unfortunately in this circumstance, I am going to put it down on the floor. Power supply is here, right? So there's zero intake from the bottom, as I just showed you. So I like the design of this case for that reason. Yeah, so turns out to be pretty versatile and going to work out in my use case. So I'm going to go ahead and spend a little bit of time, get this room all together, get things closed on, and then I want to show you what this looks like turned on. We talked about illumination with the last video, and we'll go a little deeper into just seeing that on this one. As well as there's not CD, but software drivers I need to get installed for the EverMedia and such. So we'll be right back. Something I wanted to point out as I was showing you the capture card, and I kind of dangled it a little bit. There's actually a lock mechanism right here that's responsible for all of these slots here. And when you push this down, which I've done, it kind of clamps them in and it secures them really tight. I'm saying all that to say, you know, this is a re-review, right? 3 years later, there's just little things about it that I'm noticing that I do actually like. I feel like there was just some thought put into the design of what we have here. And as I said in video 1, it doesn't look like they offer this kind of case. Now, I'm sure that there are some opportunities within the case. But as I said, there's no ventilation from the bottom. The power supply is in the center, and they've got these nice lock mechanisms, and then the motherboard is loaded with different USB ports. So there's some good things that I do actually like about this thing. I think it was a great investment so far, and so yeah. All right, let's give this thing a boot up. I mentioned in yesterday's video that I got this from my son. What I did was I did a factory reset, so it does have Windows 11 on it. I believe I have Street Fighter 6, and that might be the only game that's installed on here. Not that I'm, you know, going to be using this much for gaming. It's definitely capable of getting some games in. Let's get a look at the side of this thing. There's that side shot. Kind of give you that overview. Let's go ahead and hit the light. Still got the S95C providing us plenty light. I think it's a light cannon. But yeah, this is pretty clean. So the default Alienware colors is kind of like that teal blue. I'm not sure what they call it exactly. It's in the blue family, but you are able to go into their software and to modify that. All right, so that's what it looks like turned on. All right, so there are a couple of peripherals that I'm going to need to connect to this thing to get the experience I'm looking for. Number one is going to be a microphone. I've got a blue snowball here, so that's a USB-B to USB-A. Number two is going to be a sound DAC. It's the X Blaster. I think that's X6. And then number 3 is going to be an Elgato webcam. Now, everything is a product that I've already had. As I said, this thing has plenty of USB connections on the rear for me to be able to get all the content that I need to plug to, and then some. I thought I was going to have to do an external capture card. I was prepared to get the external Elgato connected, but I found that I had an Evermedia in storage, and so I pulled that guy out, and internally we are connected, which I still love this capture card, even though I don't really use it. But at the time when I was using it to create content, it just worked out to be very good. Passed through 4K 60, which is pretty much all I need on my arcade cabinet. My monitor can do higher, but yeah, we'll be looking pretty good to get everything that we need to get out of this system. All right, guys, we got to do a quick tour because my room was such a mess. Got to make it known, you know, when I get to cleaning stuff up, man, I get into the zone where I want to organize stuff and have it exactly how I want it. So we got this all put back together. So I've got a full setup over here for me to be able to kind of do my thing over here. Put a lot of the spare shoes that I don't have boxes for anymore down here. But we've got this beautiful PC down here, man. Look at that Alienware. So hopefully the lead up help you understood the context. As I said, there's no intake or anything on the ground. It's all plastic and rubber. So I don't believe this to having any issues. Now, this PC is very capable of gaming. We're not going to be using it for gaming. As I said, we got a PlayStation 5 inside of this cabinet here. And with the internal capture card, the signal's going from the PS5 to the capture card, and then from the capture card to the monitor. And then what I did was I ran an HDMI from the PC to this OLED, this 55-inch S95B, which, as I said, an OLED gives you absolutely perfect viewing angles. So even if you was right here trying to see content, you still can see colors and everything perfectly. In fact, probably gonna make a video or something kind of comparing this to this, because this monitor that I have in here, this is a different topic, but this monitor that I have in here is a pretty good monitor. But it's like, man, I'm trying to calibrate it in accordance to what this looks like, and it's just impossible. But yeah, put my room back together. I absolutely hate when things get messy, but we're going to get back to the topic, which is this PC. And so the next transition is actually going to be content made directly from the PC. I'm also going to render this entire video using this PC, right? So let's get back to it. All right, so we're sitting at the arcade cabinet right now recording this part of this transition. And you know, this PC, I got this thing set where it's able to output essentially at 4K, right? So even if the source isn't that, I can make content and like pretty good high fidelity. And I've run a couple of tests and I haven't had any problems with it. I pretty much got OBS running on here. Pretty minimal on the side of software. I don't do a lot of Discord and different other things at the same time. Whenever I'm creating content, I'm more focused on the game. So I just need to be able to engage in dialogue by way of comments, and I need to make sure that everything is spot on from perspective of me being able to see, as well as viewership obviously being able to hear me. So right now there's a shotgun microphone on my Sony A6000. 6000 is what I'm using right here. I'm not actually using the webcam. I didn't feel it was a necessity for me to utilize a webcam. I actually just remixed everything in here, and so I put the A6000 right here for this setup for me to be able to create this kind of content, because I'm gonna spend a lot of time starting January on my gaming channel making videos around different type of games, not just Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat. Really excited about that GTA 6 trailer. That was pretty awesome, as well as other games that might be on the PlayStation. It's a pretty comfortable setup, and this monitor is pretty capable, although it's not an OLED. Anyway, yeah, so this thing is able to produce some pretty good content. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch this over a little bit. All right, so got us back on a different scene right now. I'm gonna go ahead and roll up my collapsible green screen. So I'm just looking over because the OLED just shows perfect, like it shows perfect. So I keep looking at it just to ensure, but everything looks really nice and clean and crisp. And right now I'm sitting in front of my cabinet. We'll just do a count out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's hit a combo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Going to the super. Gonna go to the air super. Bam. Bam. Yeah, okay, we're gonna hit one more combo. Let's go. Big damage, yeah. For sure there, yeah. So all of this created on this PC. Again, the output in 4K, 60 frames per second. This thing is not making any crazy howling noises. The exhaust for the actual PC is on the top. It's a very unique design. Typically, your PC's exhaust is going to be in the rear, but this one's up top. So again, I put a cooler in this thing. I kept the same capacity of RAM. Everything that I put into this except the cooler was products that I already owned. So it didn't put me out a lot of money. I want to switch this camera up a little bit. Yeah, so let's bring this to a conclusion. Hopefully this shotgun mic sounds okay. This is going to be the only thing that'll drive me crazy if it's not to my standards today. I've been shooting content and filming with a microphone that's close on me, so just having something that's detached and away from me is not my favorite. But yeah, so let's just talk about a conclusion of this thing. Just to summarize this, we've got 2 different videos. This is video 2. This PC I bought 3 years ago for my son. My son is now using a custom build, which he had a custom build before I purchased this PC, but I got this for him. And I just thought it would be something cool to send him away to college where he'd have something new, something immersive, and it would put him in a good position. Prior to this 3070, his build had a 1070 inside of it. And so I literally had, like, at one time had 3 of my sons, maybe 4 of my sons, and they all had 1070s in their systems. And so I just gradually upgraded them. And so what happens is, like, I'll get myself or Lady Hera like a GPU, and then, you know, as we upgrade stuff, you know, the kids kind of get the hand-me-down. So a couple of my boys, they got 3090s with the 45-inch LG monitors. I'm not trying to rant here, but this turned out to be a really good investment. So as my son has now moved on to something that's a little bit more mobile, is the motivation behind me wanting to build him something. The H1 version 2 is the PC case. I talked about this in video 1 day. He is utilizing right now, and it just makes it where if he's just got to pick it up, grab it, take somewhere, he can do that for sure. 100% can do that. It's a lot easier to carry around versus this Alienware. And this case itself isn't too bulky, so it's a pretty I won't call it minimalistic, but it's compact enough for what it is and what it offers. But now in my possession for something for me to be able to use, right? You know, I can put this thing through the ringer and it'll have some value just because I'm not going to be utilizing it for gaming. Even though the parts inside of it, I would put a 3070 is kind of like 2080 Ti, which honestly I think is beyond par. It's higher tier a little bit than a PS5, Xbox Series X. I think this is a more capable system, but I'm not going to be using it for gaming. I'm going to be basically using the GPU for, you know, handling stream, handling recording, handling rendering. I'm going to render this video up. I've shot this entire video in 4K at 60, so however long it takes for the 60 frames per second to pop up. It's all been vlog style, but again, it's going to get rendered on this. So fully set this thing up so that it's a modern setup. I got my arcade, being able to play games. I got an internal capture card into this thing. Really hadn't put any money into it other than the 50-60 bucks for the cooler. Everything else was just stuff that I had laying around, right? Still utilizing the 1 terabyte mechanical drive that's in it, the 256 SSD that's in it. It's just adequate. I got Street Fighter 6 on here. Might download a couple more fighting games, but again, I'll be using this on a cabinet. So there's not a ton of games that I need to put onto this thing because I'm going to be playing the games on the PlayStation 5. So, I mean, it just kind of, it is what it is. Now, I might be able to use it as a testing bench to some degree for like the S95B. There's going to be some content coming for that. As I said on video 1, TVs is kind of my niche on YouTube. It's my thing, but that's what I got. I just, you know, I knew that I was going to get this thing back into the house from storage, and so I decided to make this content. Thought, hey, I would put this out there. So if you guys are interested in getting a pre-built system, fear none. You just gotta monitor and inspect what you expect. Make sure you're getting quality parts. Make sure you have some type of foundation of understanding as to who's going to be using it, what the expectations are. So when I say inspect what you expect, evaluate what you think you're going to be doing and align that with what you really want to happen from that, right? So if you're wanting to play on some super high-end 4K TV or monitor, you got to go high-end with the graphics card, right? If you're going to be doing a crap ton of multitasking, video rendering and coding and a lot of different things, you got to get you a lot of RAM in your system. You just got to get the system specs built the way that you want them to be so that the system can align to what you need. And I always tell people, buy a computer for tomorrow, not today. And that means like this, right? I bought this almost 3 years ago, and here I am today able to use it for something, right? So let me know what you guys think. If you found this entertaining at all, a quick thumb up. This isn't going to really resonate with a lot of the fan base that I have because this is a different kind of content, but I feel very organic when making this, very passionate about this type of stuff too, and it's real to me because I bought it like for a loved one. And so that's what I got. I'm gonna catch you guys on the next video. Peace, God bless, and as always say, man, max love.